Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. This time I'm talking about episode 74, so let's get to it. Episode 74 begins in the skies above Full Moon Island. A Cresselia is being chased by Matori and Team Rocket, who are in an aircraft. Cresselia is soon hit with electricity and she falls to the ground. Team Rocket then search for Cresselia on foot, however, Cresselia manages to slip away. Meanwhile, on New Moon Island, Darkrai apparently senses a disturbance in the force. I guess that Darkrai sensed what happened to Cresselia, so Darkrai rises up to the moon and it heads towards the mainland. The episode then cuts to Cerise Institute, where Professor Cerise tells Ash and Goh that the people of Sinnoh are suffering from nightmares. Goh wonders if a Pokemon is behind the nightmares. Professor Cerise and Krisa both say that nightmares in Sinnoh bring Darkrai to mind. Ash says that he would not put it past Darkrai to give people nightmares. Goh wonders if Ash has met Darkrai before, and Ash says that yes, he did, and that Darkrai is an amazing Pokemon and it's strong in battle. This shows that Ash still remembers at least one of his previous encounters with a Darkrai, but he does not specify which Darkrai he is talking about. The fact that Ash says that he would not put it past Darkrai to give people nightmares suggests that he is talking about the Darkrai from episode 104 of the Diamond and Pearl series, which had a very similar premise to this episode, or the Darkrai of the Rise of Darkrai movie, though the Darkrai from the movie was not actually giving people nightmares, it was only misunderstood. However, the fact that Ash says that Darkrai is strong in battle suggests more than anything that Ash is talking about Tobias's Darkrai. But regardless of which Darkrai he means, it's always nice to see Ash recall something that happened in the anime's past. It shows that there is continuity and that Ash's previous adventures do still have some importance. Professor Cerise goes on to say that Darkrai normally stays on New Moon Island, so he wonders why Darkrai left the island. Goh says that this is what he and Ash will investigate, so Ash and Goh decide to travel to the Sinnoh region. On the way out, they run into Chloe, who just got back from school. Because of summer vacation, Chloe was able to leave school early. Ren soon notifies Professor Cerise that the data check on a Pokemon egg that they have been studying is done. So Chloe leaves so that Professor Cerise can return to work. As she leaves, Chloe tells Professor Cerise that she is really looking forward to their family vacation. Professor Cerise then turns blue because he realizes that he forgot all about the vacation. The episode then cuts to Chloe and Professor Cerise's house, where Professor Cerise tells Chloe that unfortunately, the family vacation they had planned is cancelled. Chloe is, of course, not happy with this, and she wants to know the reason why the vacation is cancelled. Professor Cerise says that the egg that they have been studying at Cerise Institute is about to hatch, so he must keep an eye on it. Chloe wonders why he has to stay to watch over the egg personally, since Krisa and Ren could do that for him. But Professor Cerise says that since he has been caring for the egg from the beginning, he wants to be there when it hatches. I guess that after caring for the egg for so long, Professor Cerise feels like he's the father of the Pokemon that is about to be born, and so he wants to be there to witness the birth of his child. Chloe does not accept this excuse, however, and with a disapproving gaze, she stares at Professor Cerise, who apologizes in a panic. Chloe's mother then says that she just got an urgent illustration job, meaning that she can't go either, so she also apologizes. Chloe expresses her disappointment by saying that she has been looking forward to the first family vacation they have had in a while, and she says that her brother has been looking forward to the vacation as well. However, this turns out to be false, as her brother says that he did not really care about the vacation and that now he can go with his friends to summer camp instead. So it turns out that Chloe is the only one that really cares about the vacation. Professor Cerise says that Chloe could go to the Sinnoh region since Ash and Goh went there to do some research. But Chloe is annoyed by this because she thinks that Professor Cerise is telling her to go help with the investigation since she has nothing better to do. Professor Cerise says that he meant to say that Chloe should go to Sinnoh to have fun. She could even meet some new Pokemon. Frustrated, Chloe says that it's unbelievable remarkable that Professor Cerise seems to think that Pokemon can make anything better, meaning that he thinks that if Chloe gets to meet some new Pokemon, then she will be able to forget about the vacation she was looking forward to so much. She goes on to say that all she wanted was to enjoy a trip with her family, but since that's not possible anymore, she storms out of the room after telling Professor Cerise to forget it, as in he should not worry anymore since Chloe will take matters into her own hands. So Chloe gets ready to go on a trip with Eevee. However, before she can leave, her mother points out that Chloe's suitcase is a bit much, and indeed it is. They certainly wouldn't let you take this with you on the plane. So Chloe's mother gives Chloe a backpack instead that has everything that Chloe will need for the trip. Chloe's mother says that when she was little, she traveled using a backpack just like this one. This totally feels like the opening of one of the games where the player character is about to set off on their journey and they are given a backpack by their mother, which is fitting considering that Chloe is about to start her own journey alongside her quote-unquote starter Pokemon. It's also worth noting that something like this also happened with Dawn and her mother when Dawn was about to begin her journey. Professor Cerise apologizes once again for spoiling the vacation, and he says that this is a good chance. However, Chloe should have fun and she should be free to do what she wants. Chloe smiles and she says that Professor Cerise is right. However, Professor Cerise, being the doting father that he is, says that Chloe should call right away if she is in trouble or if she feels down. Chloe says, "Don't treat me like a child," and she leaves. Chloe and Eevee soon arrive in the Sinnoh Region via airplane. They don't specify what city this is, instead the location text simply says Sinnoh Region. Chloe and Eevee walk around town wondering where they should go, and suddenly a trainer bumps into Chloe. The trainer correctly assumes that Chloe is a tourist and that she is traveling alone. He then incorrectly assumes that Chloe is here to challenge the Pokemon gyms of the Sinnoh Region. So, he challenges Chloe to a battle, but Chloe declines and she runs away exclaiming that she is sorry. Now, I know that Chloe wouldn't battle a random trainer like this, but I think that it would have been cool if she did. It would have been fitting considering that this journey is meant to be her chance to try new things, her chance to be adventurous, so it would have been great if she did battle the random trainer. Chloe soon stops running and she wonders if there is a tourist center nearby that she could visit for assistance. An interview on a nearby TV screen catches Chloe's attention. They are interviewing Dawn's mother. During the interview, they talk about a Pokemon contest that will take place in Eterna City. Eevee shows an interest in the Pokemon contest, so Chloe decides to go watch the contest. It is nice to see Dawn's mother again, even if we only get to see her on TV. Chloe checks the timetable for the bus to Eterna City at a nearby bus stop. The next bus will arrive in an hour, so Chloe decides to wait. Eevee, however, decides to walk to Eterna City instead, and so Chloe chooses to walk there as well as a result. As they walk, they run into a Starly who is just minding its own business. But Eevee decides to mimic Starly, which frustrates Starly. In the end, Eevee and Starly end up crashing into each other. Angered by this, Starly calls for backup. Chloe and Eevee are then chased by the flock of Starly. After escaping the Starly, Chloe says that surprises like this can still be fun and that you have to find the fun in everything. The weather apparently hears this and says, "Oh yeah, we'll find the fun in this," since it starts to rain heavily. So Chloe and Eevee have to run from the rain as well. After they find shelter under a tree, Chloe says that perhaps traveling is just trouble. But she soon says to herself that she should not think like this and that she's not feeling down. The episode then cuts to Ash and Goh for the first time since the beginning of the episode. They are trying to gather information from a sleep-deprived Officer Jenny that struggles to stay awake. Officer Jenny reveals that people can't sleep because of the nightmares. This lack of sleep has led to accidents and people get angry or irritated easily and they get into arguments as a result. Goh wonders if there have been reports of a suspicious Pokemon. Officer Jenny says that no one has reported such a thing, but she does say that the nightmare spree seems to be moving around, since it has affected several nearby towns, and is not just affecting one city. Ash and Goh conclude that a Pokemon must be behind the nightmares for sure, and they decide that tracking the route of the nightmare spree will help them find the culprit. The episode then cuts to Jesse, James, and Meowth, who are in their hideout. They receive a call from Matori, who tells them to find the Cresselia that got away. Jesse, James, and Meowth are reluctant to accept the mission at first, but Matori tells them that catching Cresselia and the Darkrai is a direct order from Giovanni, so Jesse, James, and Meowth can improve their reputation if they succeed, so they accept the mission. However, Matori is only using them because if they fail, it's their fault, and if they succeed, then it's a victory for Team Rocket as a whole. Matori and her team then decide to pursue Darkrai. The episode then cuts to Chloe. The rain finally stops, so Chloe and Eevee decide to continue their journey. However, they soon witness a beautiful sight. A flock of Drifblim and Drifloon fly over the nearby lake, while the light of dusk and the afterglow of the rain make the lake sparkle. Chloe says to Eevee that they only got to see something this beautiful because they set off on this journey, so she's glad that they did decide to travel. Chloe and Eevee then sit down to prepare dinner. Chloe struggles to get a fire going at first, but she eventually succeeds and she begins to prepare a stew. Chloe says to Eevee that they have to sleep here in the wild, but at least there aren't any dangerous Pokemon around. As soon as she says this, she hears a rustle in the nearby bush. A wild Piplup then appears and he lands face first into the hot stew. A wild Dawn then appears as well and she ends up tripping and falling face first into the ground. Chloe wonders if Dawn is okay and Dawn answers by saying her catchphrase, Daijobu, Daijobu, or it's fine, it's fine. Everyone then sits down to eat dinner together. Dawn says that she's glad that they found Chloe because they were looking for a place to spend the night. And they realized that they did not buy any food. And that's when they smelled the stew that Chloe was cooking. This delicious smell is what led Dawn and Piplup to Chloe. Chloe says that she thought that she was being attacked by a wild Pokemon, so Dawn apologizes for scaring Chloe, and then everyone introduces themselves. Dawn wonders where Chloe and Eevee are going. Chloe says that they're going to Eterna City, so Dawn thinks that Chloe is participating in the Pokemon contest just like her. But Chloe says that she is just watching, to which Dawn replies that Chloe should just enter if she is going to the contest anyways. Chloe says that she has never participated in a contest before, but Dawn says that it's fine, everyone has to start somewhere. Chloe still does not have a dream or an objective, and so I fully expected to see her get a goal in this arc, with contest being the most likely candidate, so hopefully she does participate in the contest next episode. Chloe then wonders if Dawn has participated in a contest before, and Dawn says that she has participated in contests in Sinnoh, Ho, and Unova, and Johto. Now, none of this is surprising to us, of course, but it does surprise Chloe, who wonders if Dawn traveled so much by herself. Dawn says that she has traveled alone and with friends. When she traveled through the Sinnoh region, she was part of a group of 3. Man, I wonder who the other 2 were. Wink wink. Dawn then tells Chloe that they should travel to Eterna City together, which makes Chloe very happy. The episode then cuts to Cerise Institute. Ash and Goh are back from their investigation and they say that they could not find the source of the nightmares. Now, when I saw this, I was like, wait, no way they are back so fast. And without finding anything out at that. Krisa and Ren are here and they say that who cares about research. They want to know if Ash and Goh caught any strong Pokemon. They totally sound like Team Rocket, so I thought, wait, are this Jesse and James in disguise? Krisa and Ren then performed the Team Rocket model, so I was like, aha, I was right. However, it's still Krisa and Ren wearing the Team Rocket uniforms. And there's an S on the uniforms instead of an R, so I was like, wait, is this Team Sakuragi? What is going on here? They do end the motto by saying that they are indeed Team Sakuragi. I wonder what they will be in the English dub. They will probably have to edit the uniforms to Team C. Mr. Mime and Yamper also join in for the finale. Ash and Goh are then also wearing the Team Sakuragi uniforms, and they are of course in shock. Professor Cerise then shows up looking like Giovanni but with a cape and a monocle. Professor Cerise says that they will conquer the world with the Pokemon of Cerise Institute. At this point, I was like, okay, this is obviously not really happening, and indeed, Ash and Goh wake up in a panic. Turns out that they were having the same nightmare. Pikachu and Grookey also had this same nightmare. Ash and Goh head outside believing that Darkrai should be around, and they do see Darkrai, who vanishes into the void. The episode then cuts to Chloe and Dawn, who wake up the next day. Chloe has a terrible case of bed hair, and she is afraid that Dawn will see her like this. But Dawn's hair is also a mess, so everything is fine. Piplup uses Bubble Beam to help the girls fix their hair situation. Chloe thanks Piplup, and I love that Piplup smiles and blushes like, oh, it's no problem. You're welcome. Eevee tries to use Bubble Beam via copycat, but she only manages to create one big bubble, though Eevee is still happy with this result. So Chloe, Dawn, Eevee, and Piplup resume their journey to Eterna City. Chloe says that at this pace they should be able to spend the night at the Pokemon Center. However, Dawn gets distracted by almost everything she sees. She gets distracted by a random Budew, she gets distracted by a field of flowers, and she gets distracted by a random spring on the side of the road. Piplup and Eevee also get sidetracked, and they play around with Dawn. At first, Chloe is indifferent to all the interruptions in their journey, and she does play along with Dawn. But Chloe gets more and more annoyed with each stop, and she tells Dawn that they should get going, but Dawn says that it will be fine, it will be fine. Dawn continues to get distracted with a bunch of random things while saying that it will be fine, until Chloe can't take anymore and she screams that it will not be fine. Dawn is not deterred by this, and she says that Chloe should have said that it will be not fine instead. Chloe says that they should get moving because the day will be over before they know it, but Dawn says that since they are traveling, they should have fun. That Chloe should look at the scenery and not at the guidebook. Chloe says that she is having fun, but she just wants to make sure that they will get to their destination. Dawn says that things will work out and that Chloe is just too serious and a spoil sport. While Chloe says that Dawn is just too thoughtless. Dawn says that if she says that it will be fine, then it will work out. And Chloe says that it will be not fine. So Chloe took Dawn's earlier correction to heart. They both then continue to scream back and forth to each other that it will be fine and that it will be not fine. Now I have to say that because it has been a while since I last saw Dawn, I can't remember if she was always this clumsy, random, and silly. But since it has been so long since I last saw her, it did kind of surprise me that she is such an airhead in this episode. Now I am not complaining or saying that this is bad, it's just an observation. Because I do like Dawn's personality and I love how she interacts with Chloe. The episode then cuts to Ash and Goh. Using the information that they got from asking the people that have been suffering from nightmares, Goh is able to discern Darkrai's route. Darkrai seems to be going around this one forest, so Ash and Goh decide to go to this forest to see if there is something here that might be the cause of Darkrai's nightmare spree. Considering what happened at the beginning of the episode and what is revealed at the end of the episode, it's likely that Darkrai is looking for Cresselia. Meanwhile, Jesse, James, and Meowth are flying over this very forest. They are searching for Cresselia. The episode then cuts back to Chloe and Dawn, who are still at odds with each other. Chloe says that it is getting late and they could have reached their destination by now if not for Dawn. But Dawn says that they got to have more fun, which is what matters. An angry, sleep-deprived, wild Rhydon then appears. Eevee uses Tackle on Rhydon, but it is ineffective as Rhydon is a rock-type Pokemon. This is the first time that Eevee uses a move other than Copycat. Dawn says that she will take care of Rhydon since Piplup is a water-type Pokemon, so he has the type advantage over Rhydon. So Piplup uses Bubble Beam, which lands a clean hit. However, Rhydon does not back down, and it uses what appears to be Rock Throw, which hits and knocks over Piplup. Eevee steps up and she uses Bubble Beam via Copycat. This defeats Rhydon, or rather it puts Rhydon to sleep. Dawn is amazed because Eevee can use Bubble Beam, so she wonders why Eevee can use the move. Chloe does not answer the question though. Instead, she says that Piplup is awesome as well. This small exchange allows Dawn and Chloe to reconcile and they smile at each other. They all then notice that there is something glowing in the distance. The episode then cuts briefly to Ash and Goh, who approach the forest. Goh says that they might have to battle Darkrai, and Ash says that they should try not to fall asleep, and that it would be great if Cresselia was here since she can dispel Darkrai's nightmares. Yeah, if only she was here, right? Ash and Goh then run towards the forest. The episode then cuts one last time back to Chloe and Dawn, who approach the source of the light from earlier. To their surprise, they find an injured Cresselia, and that's the episode. Overall, this was a great episode. I am glad that Chloe finally got a lot of screen time and she pretty much got to be the protagonist for one episode. It was nice to see her on her own journey with just Eevee, and I could honestly watch an entire series of just Chloe learning to travel on her own. She could catch Pokemon, she could find a dream to pursue like contests, and she could grow into a more independent, carefree, and experienced character by the end. This will probably never happen, but it would be great if it did. It was also very nice to see Dawn again, and her interactions with Chloe were funny and entertaining to watch. Dawn is a free spirit. She is less rational and she is less serious, more adventurous than Chloe. So Dawn's personality is the perfect counter to Chloe's personality, which is why they ended up butting heads. But they still do share some qualities, which is why they ultimately reconciled. Just like I could watch an entire series with just Chloe, I would love to see an entire series of just Chloe and Dawn traveling together. Again, I am sure that this won't happen, but it sure would be amazing if it did. I would definitely pay extra to see this version of Pokemon Journeys as well. As for the rest of the episode, there isn't really much to say, since Ash and Goh were supporting characters. Their screen time was short, though the nightmare that they had was hilarious, and the fact that Ash remembers Darkrai is of course something to be happy about. Hopefully we can see more of this when Ash and Goh find Darkrai again. Now, this episode was a bit lacking in action and nothing too significant happened, but I am sure that this is because this episode is meant to be mostly build up for the next episode, which is sure to be amazing. So yeah, this episode was great and I can't wait to see the next one. But that's the video, as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching and let's meet again in the next video.